who doesn't want to meet that perfect person? The one who checks off all the boxes, the one you've been dreaming of for all this time, and the one that can actually make your dream come true. And what if things don't really go exactly how you planned?
Maybe we should get married.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is your one opportunity to finally be a wife.
Alrighty.
Yes, Mary, we are finally doing it. We are going to analyze Charlotte's love story and how many of you see the only character that actually developed. As you know, we narrate, we analyze, we often judge, and we always pretend to know better and would do better. Hopefully. Charlotte is on a mission. She is done trying to find her potential husband, just running around and waiting for him to appear. This time, she's gonna take things into her own hands. She's gonna approach it a bit more strategically, a bit more business mindset. Charlotte wants to get married. She wants to be a wife. That was the goal since she was a little girl. It's the ultimate thing that will make her feel like she has made it. Now, here's the thing. It's not like Charlotte never found a potential husband, but they also turned out not to be the right material. Some didn't share her taste in porcelain dishes.
Are you serious?
Oh, there is no messing with how a perfect family home should look like. Then there was Jack. I mean, he was perfect for her until he asked her to do threesomes.
Jack wants us to do a threesome.
Of course he does. Every guy does.
And here's the thing. Charlotte was actually willing to try it. Charlotte is not so conservative or closed off to potential new experiences, especially when it comes to potentially also making them your husband.
Maybe it would bring us closer.
But it didn't feel right when she quickly became the third wheel in this threesome arrangement. She also tried with Michael. He was from a good family and he also had a golden retriever. Now, Mary, you know, having a dog is a good sign. Is it? Don't take that as set in stone advice. You never know. But then he tried to push her in giving him BJ. Multiple times. And Charlotte does not do BJs. It's a no-no.
I hate doing it.
If Michael wasn't bad enough, the next guy wanted Charlotte to be the up-the-butt girl.
I'm not a hoe. I mean, men don't marry the up-the-butt girl. Who ever heard of Mrs. Up-the-Butt? No.
Then there was the guy who didn't know how to stop touching his balls in public. Then the one who didn't know how to kiss. Like he licked her all over the face. Then the guy who called her a bee during sex. And then the guy who actually pleased Charlotte very well. But he didn't have any personality apart from being good at going down on women. And when she finally met someone who seemed perfect, who didn't need her to do BJs or up the butt, someone who actually seemed like he can commit and he valued women and marriage, he turned out to use his widow status to get women to take care of him rather than to restore faith in love. So there. What is Charlotte supposed to do?
I've been dating since I was 15. I'm exhausted. Where is he?
She even decided to kind of let go a little bit of the whole trying to find a man thing, but then the lesbian group also kicked her out.
If you're not going to eat pussy, you're not a dyke.
She even tried to replace a man with a dog. But also that little fella shit all over her perfect life. All Charlotte wants is to find someone who will help her fulfill the dream of being a wife and having a family. Someone who will do the small things.
And who's to say that one moment is any more important than when he gets up and pours you a cup of coffee in the morning?
And someone who will make sure that her box wish finally comes true. A baby named Shayla, a townhouse in the city, a beach house in the Hamptons, a perfect husband who looks like a model. Is that so hard to find? Hello? He'll probably fuck up my whole couch. Yeah, we love them. This year, she is gonna find herself a husband. And according to the latest book that she is reading, you need to approach finding your husband with a certain mindset.
It encourages professional women to approach finding a mate with the same kind of dedication and organization that they bring to their careers.
The first rule is that Charlotte should be spending a little less time with single women, But you know who are the perfect people to hang with?
If you don't see as much of me, it's because I'll be spending more time with my married friends.
You see, husbands usually have a friend or two who are single and the perfect bachelor. It's almost like untapped territory.
So that's my first assignment, befriend the husbands. It's my new full-time job.
And lucky for Charlotte, she just knows the couple. The husband has a perfect single friend for Charlotte. The only thing missing is for the two of them to meet. But why am I doing this? This meetup is a little bit more challenging than what Charlotte would expect. You see, this husband seems to not really try to get them together. He keeps on saying how he's gonna set it up, but it ain't happening. Charlotte is thinking, what? Does he think that I'm not good enough for him? Charlotte is the type of person who values herself based on being good enough to be a wife. That's her whole shtick, right? Also, Carrie says that being married to Charlotte, it's like that sorority group that she desperately wants to join. So she values herself and her status in the society based on, is she good enough woman to be a wife? So the fact that this guy potentially doesn't want to set her up with his friend, to her, it's clear because he doesn't think that Charlotte is wife material.
Well, here I am at the opera, which I planned on going to with Phil, who I guess you've decided I'm not good enough for.
Hey, Charlotte. Hi. Hey, it's Dennis.
Though this time, the story goes a little bit different. You see, the husband is actually in love with Charlotte. That's why he doesn't want to set her up with his friend. And Charlotte can't believe it. She's better than his wife. He would leave his wife for her. People, I'm talking about Charlotte, not this is not Carrie, okay? We're not talking about Carrie. No. Charlotte is pissed for a little bit of wrong reasons, but still, she finds it appalling that this guy, a husband, is trying to hit on her. Does he not respect marriage? And most importantly, is he really blocking Charlotte from meeting his perfect friend and actually for her to have a chance at a good life? The audacity.
You kept all of your great single friends away from me just so you could cheat on your wife?
Yes, Mary, we would wish that Charlotte would be more like a girl's girl and she would be like, oh, I'm gonna call the wife and let her know and you are a douche. But somehow Charlotte is more focused on how she is losing in this situation. By the way, don't you love this little toxic sneak of how a husband just falls in love with your friend? Just like that, yes. Give us some more trauma, why not? So Carrie and Charlotte are very much alike. Though I know you take a deep breath, okay? I'm gonna explain why do I think so. It's okay. We can get through this. From my perspective, Carrie and Charlotte are both in the pursuit of a love story, right? The difference is that Carrie is pursuing a fantasy of true love, while Charlotte is pursuing an image of true love. I know I'm spitting some bombs, quotes. I'm very proud when I come up with shit like this. So we are gonna play a little game. I'm gonna play a little game. You're gonna watch. How do Charlotte and Carrie differentiate in their illusions? The source of validation. Carrie wants to be chosen as the one, even when it means she's not gonna be morally the best. Charlotte is being seen as the perfect wife material, embodying perfection and class. What do they believe about love? For Carrie, love is passion, emotion, even chaos, and it's driven by faith. For Charlotte, love has a certain structure, certain rules, traditions, and it's basically representation of your worth. How do they deal with the morality of love? For Carrie, when it comes to love, sometimes morals need to take a step back. Sometimes chaos takes over, and that's a part of true love. For Charlotte, anything that would go against the traditional narrative of what love is a no-no. What is love? For Carrie, it's a grand and messy experience that consumes everything. For Charlotte, it's the ultimate goal and achievement in society. Which screw up are you? At the end of the day, they're both a little bit delulu and just chasing what they think is the right thing. At least at this point. So Charlotte is experiencing a married man, getting in her perfect plan, in her strategy to become a wife this year. She slaps him and she runs out the restaurant. But she's all confused and she doesn't even look left and right, which, people, didn't your parents teach you? She falls on the ground and a taxi almost runs her over. Are you all right? Charlotte looks up. She sees a handsome, rich man. And she doesn't know it yet. But it's him. It's Charlotte's future husband.
I'm Trey.
Charlotte.
Trey is a doctor with family money. And those are two things that Charlotte values. Check, check. Trey and Charlotte pair up immediately. And they cannot stop gushing about how perfect their first encounter was. Trey is reminiscing about how he heard someone screaming like a hyena running across the street. And Charlotte, how her plans were almost interrupted by a husband who wants to cheat on his wife. When Trey stopped the taxi, he even said to stop the meter, which... What?
I got out. I told him to stop the meter. Right? And there was Charlotte.
How do you think rich stay rich? I guess Charlotte values financial responsibility. And not only that, the most magical thing about it all is that night, right before they met, they were actually both struggling. You see, Trey got a gift from his mom that he didn't like and he wanted to return, and Charlotte was dealing with this husband.
And that's how we met.
Trey was returning a gift he didn't like, and then he met the greatest gift of his life, Charlotte. So magical. Look, people, is it possible to meet someone and you immediately know that this is it and everything just goes perfectly? Honestly, I think it's possible, but I do think it does depend also what are your experiences and maybe even how old are you, though I think more experience and maturity. First thing, okay, the magical love when you don't even know each other and you already, that look makes it, oh, there's something special there. I would imagine that's like a that is teenage type of love. You just see that kid walking on that hallway and you're just like, oh, that's him. Then again, that can also turn into very good future. Maybe you fit together and you basically grow up together, but because you, I guess, match or are actually compatible, that easily turns also into future or being together forever, right? The other version where I can see this happening is when you are already old enough and you are a little bit quicker in understanding what you do like and what you don't like. Now, just to be clear, not the first sight, but I would say maybe just a couple of months, right? You don't need to be with someone a full year before you really understand if you want to commit to them or not commit to them. I think that might be happening more like situationships are more like when you're younger. But when you reach certain age or certain experience, then you're kind of quick in understanding if there is a potential to continue or not. So I could see things developing a little bit faster. Now, the worst thing is when you think or you get that sniff, that feeling of, oh, this person is the one, and then you don't even know them, but you base everything, all the journey that you have on the fact that you already decided that this person is the one. So whatever is like not working, it's just a part of the process, right? Like Carrie in a way. That's when I would say, sweetie, get yourself together. What do you think? Is it possible to develop love and commitment quickly? Or is it always based on trauma you should address? Her friends are a little bit more skeptical, okay? They don't really believe in the whole thing. And honestly, Miranda has two views. First view is Charlotte is not in love with Trey. She's in love with the money Trey has. Or what did he buy her?
You're in love with the very expensive watch he gave you.
People, we do know that Charlotte is about that ka-ching. Apparently, she herself is from a wealthy family. I haven't really caught on to that, but maybe I will in the future. But I've seen people mentioning it. Or the other thing, his light is just on. You see, according to Miranda, that's how men are. When they are available, ding, the light goes on, like taxi. And the first woman who passes, they're like, that's the one. Men are not like women. Men don't fantasize about, who's gonna be my true wife and do that their whole life. No, when they decide they're ready, they just get married.
Sorry, I refuse to believe that love is that random. Please, it's all about timing. You gotta get them when their light's on.
People, I'm gonna say that I was a little bit disappointed with these justifications, but Miranda has her own reasoning why she's so doubtful about this. Right now, he just wants to get, or in general, people just want to get married quickly and so on because she has her own experience with Steve. But we go through that in the Steve analysis or the Miranda analysis. So watch that one. But in general, I did feel a little bit of an ick when I saw this exchange between the other three ladies and Charlotte, because it was almost like they wanted to bring her down in a way. Like, I get it, they are like realistic, oh my God, you're so in love and so on. But, if Carrie, or when Carrie was in that position, they were all like, oh my God, that's so wonderful, I guess, right? With Charlotte, it's immediately like, oh my God, that's such a bullshit. It's almost like they're belittling her a little bit. Did you also get that feeling?
I think the watch is a sign that he's in love with me too.
Oh, he's not in love. He's in blue ball hell.
Maybe in a way, the other three ladies are a little bit challenged by Charlotte's approach to love and potentially actually now finding the right guy, because Charlotte is more traditional, more conservative. She has certain rules around marriage and dating, and we'll get into those, while the other three ladies are more liberal, I guess. So maybe in a way that would manifest in them not really wanting to believe that what Charlotte has is real. If these were real people, okay? Let's always have that in mind. We are just playing detectives watching a TV show. Sometimes someone just maybe fucked up the script, and yet we think we are discovering warm water. Do you say like that? We say it in Slovenian. When someone thinks that they discovered something which was already discovered, it's like, da so odkril toplo vodo. But despite that, and maybe I already talked about this, like I talk a lot, so God knows what I said. But what do you think about this notion or this belief that men are, not available, and then when they become available, they just pick the first person who is, let's say, the most potential one? When do you think that's true and when do you think that's not true? Honestly, from my perspective, I think it goes both ways, especially now with, more progressive thoughts and women also taking their stand in society. I think it goes both ways, right? Unless you decide that you want to be committed and you want to actually work on creating a partnership, it will probably be very easy to just leave a relationship, date multiple people and so on, right? I think both women and men, and also every other gender, can behave in one way or the other way. Could we say that there is maybe still majority of women who are ready sooner to be in a relationship and committed? Probably yes. And I do think it has something to do with, generational beliefs and traumas, when that was kind of, the thing that we strived for. So maybe even today we are faster in getting to that point while men aren't. But I don't really believe that, let's say in this case, like Miranda says, that a man just chooses whoever, right? Or a woman just chooses who. I don't want to believe that. Or better, if that is the case, it's because the guy or the woman in general is an immature person. And that will show in the relationship in any case, their actual beliefs, views, or how they see you. They're not just going to be, a perfect partner. No, there will be crucial problems, foundational problems that they will need to address. What do you think? Now, there is one thing that is not progressing or developing in the relationship between Charlotte and Trey. They haven't been intimate yet, nor does Charlotte plan to be intimate anytime soon. You see, she wants to take it slow. She really believes that Trey is the one, and she doesn't want to rush it with him.
No, I want to take it slow with him. I think he could really be the one.
Now, as much as Charlotte sounds like a boogeyman, oh my God, maybe there is a correlation. We do fall for some boogies out there because of the movies. The thing is that Charlotte always had certain rules when it comes to intimacy when dating.
When you sleep with a man on the first date, the relationship will never be anything more than just sex.
But if you're serious about a guy, then you have to keep him in a holding pattern for at least 5 dates. The number of dates that you wait to have sex with a man is directly proportional to your age.
And don't get it twisted. It's not like it's easy for Charlotte to not be intimate with Trey. I mean, he is a sexy man, and Charlotte has her own wild side. She's not above one-night stands or being with someone who is not husband material.
Magical. I'm in the back of a limo about to go have sex with Wiley Ford. Taking a leak out in the alley. Isn't that cute?
But if she wants to get married, then the rules are a little bit different. And when it comes to Trey, she doesn't want to ruin it by having sex too early. The have sex or not have sex dilemma, right? I've talked about it when it came to Carrie and her first date with Big. But overall, I think it depends individually, okay? What do you consider intimacy? How do you see intimacy? What does it mean for you? But what I think is, let's say, wrong, or I don't think it's really efficient in any way. It's not contributing in any sense, rather than just, ideas and beliefs and rules, is when you see sex as the determination of will we continue or will we not continue? Is this serious or is this not serious? Then it's used as a power move, which I don't know how beneficial it is long term. When you use sex as a way to control things, or when you use sex as a way to determine if you're worthy or not worthy. I would want to have sex, but I don't want to because you will then think I'm a slut. Like, no. But if I say I don't want to have sex because I actually don't want to have sex with someone who I don't feel comfortable enough yet with, then okay. As long as it's coming from your comfort and your well-being, then I think it's fine, however you decide. They're finishing another date, and as they passionately kiss in front of Charlotte's apartment, Trey actually wants to come in. But Charlotte stands her ground. Not yet. She goes into the apartment, leaving Trey on the hallway. But then, knock, knock, she opens the door.
You're very persistent.
But Trey doesn't want to come in. He wants to tell Charlotte that she's really special.
I love you, Charlotte.
You do?
Charlotte is ecstatic and happy. She loves him too. She pulls him into the apartment. But don't get it twisted. He's only getting a hand job. Now, maybe the intimacy is not on schedule yet, but the next phase is Charlotte is going to meet Trey's mother. And about Charlotte, she finds it extremely important.
A man who cares about his mother makes a wonderful husband. Getting on the good side of his mother is like closing the deal.
Now, one might say that Charlotte and Trey are going pretty fast in this relationship, but also, honestly, I have no idea how long they have been together. Was it just a couple of days? Is this like a couple of months? I do not know. And that's probably on me. But if I look from Charlotte's perspective, it is totally possible that two people meet each other and get engaged in all of just a couple of months. I mean, she saw it real life.
Well, I think this is encouraging. This means that even if you're not dating anybody, you could be engaged in a couple of weeks.
The man Miranda was interested in fell in love first sight with her interior designer, and they got engaged and married in a couple of months. That's how things work when you are meant to be. That's probably also why Trey wants Charlotte to meet his mother. Proposal might be just around the corner.
If all goes well,
if all goes well, what?
Trey is this close to proposing. I can feel it.
And when Charlotte meets Bunny McDougal, I have no idea if I remember that correctly. Well, she is every bit as classy as Charlotte expected her to be. A true image and representation of wealth, of a woman with power and privilege. The name Bunny is probably to make her more relatable. That's exactly what I thought when I heard the name. Bunny, like this wealthy lady. It's like this, oh yeah, I'm high society and wealthy, but I'm also quirky. Now, Bunny also holds power in an interesting way when it comes to Trey.
Glenlivet, rocks, please.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you should have a red wine instead.
Alrighty.
And Charlotte, well, Charlotte is impressed. And then she does it again. You see, Trey and Charlotte were about to go, or were planning to go to this new restaurant, and Trey was looking forward to it for the entire week. But Bunny, with just one touch of hand and a little suggestion, she made him change his mind.
Alrighty.
I mean, this is the kind of power that Charlotte did not know is possible. And the next time Trey and Charlotte are having dinner, Charlotte wants to test this secret power.
Maybe you should try the tomato basil. It's sweeter.
Alrighty.
Is this possible? Is it possible that she has that power? People, was I surprised when I saw how Charlotte saw that Bunny, Trey's mother, is actually controlling Trey, and instead of seeing it as, oh, that is not good, I mean, clearly has a lot of influence and I need to help this man, right, to form a spine, she's like, oh my God, can I do it also? Like, I was shook it. So I tried to dig a little bit deeper. What is happening? And there are a couple of things. Okay. The first thing is, early on, we learned that Charlotte has certain views when it comes to men and women, and especially when it comes to the, let's say, traditional expectation where a woman is more submissive and shouldn't be too successful while a man is the provider, right?
Most men are threatened by successful women. If you want to get these guys, you have to keep your mouth shut and play by the rules.
Even dating, she very much believes in the need to play games. Like, if you want to get a man, you need to play the game.
I thought I was a game player. But you have to be. It's the only way to deal with men.
Games are empowering. If you know what you're doing, you can totally control the situation.
So, when she sees Bunny, a woman actually having a certain power and control and not just being the submissive type, but almost pulling the strings, she finds it refreshing. And she herself wants to feel that power. Maybe Charlotte even believes that for a woman to have power, she should be very subtle and she should be strategic. She shouldn't just be in the face of a man, right? And Bunny is almost embodiment of that. Like, she is actually showing how this is done. In a very subtle way, she makes Trey do what Bunny wants, right? On top of that, Bunny is obviously a very important figure in Trey's life, be it because it's his mother, but also the way she is influencing him and how he listens to her, meaning that she has a certain spot, a certain validation in Trey's eyes. So when Charlotte does the same thing and Trey actually responds, for Charlotte, this could be another confirmation that she's actually very important to Trey, that she has a very strong role, almost as strong as his mother. It's almost like testing, does he only do this for his mother, or is she also that worthy? Does that make sense? Now, the catch here is that, unfortunately, I mean, she totally neglects who Trey actually is. The fact that he changes his mind so quickly, yes, it could be because his mother is so important and now also Charlotte, or it could be that Trey never really developed a strong sense of sticking by his decisions. Here's the thing. One could say that Trey, listens to his mom because he is incapable of doing things for himself. But that would actually result in him being indecisive, right? And then he needs someone to tell him what to do. And that's actually not what's happening, because Trey clearly states what he wants. Also with Charlotte, he clearly expresses he doesn't like the salad and he wants to order another one, right? So the fact that he then changes his mind based on, in this case, Bunny's input or Charlotte's input could indicate a couple of things. In a way, you could even say that, he was raised in the sense of other know best. So it could even be connected to the privileged and wealthy. And let's play a little bit like, pretending like we know how shit goes down, and not that we are sourcing probably from Korean dramas. It could be, right, if we're playing into the backstory, that Trey is raised in a wealthy family where he was also taught how to be self-sufficient or present himself as self-sufficient, have clear decisions and so on, but also being always corrected, right? Other people know best. For example, Mommy, I want to play with this friend. And then the mom says, yes, Trey, very good, but it would be better if you played with this other friend because of this and this and this, right? This play of you are very confident in yourself, but also I'm telling you what is the right thing. Another, I think, very common example, a parent would tell to their child, you are so smart. And then at the same time will constantly correct whatever this child does. So it's like this child develops this sense of, oh yes, I am very smart. But the second someone says something, they completely, listen to this other person. So if these were real people and we knew more and so on, that could be one of the reasons. The other reason is that Trey is someone who likes to avoid conflict. Instead of getting into convincing an argument and so on, he's just like, okay, whatever, yeah, you're right, I'm gonna do this. He could even learn that changing his decision and pleasing the other person is a way of showing love, right? Maybe his mother, the way she is or the way she is presented, would, as he was growing up, show appreciation when Trey changed his mind for her, right? So he learned that that's a sign of love. Again, Trey doesn't really come off as actively passive, directly passive. Like he's not always just waiting for other people to do things. He actually wants what he wants, but then he quickly changes. If we go even deeper, we could even say that Trey is a little bit delulu, right? He might feel like he is actually in power of his life and his decision because he does know what he wants, but then he also decides to go with the other thing. So it's almost like it's my decision to do it your way. And it makes him feel like it's his decision and he has power, but lacking or missing to see that no, it's actually a very subtle control. It's just that you now, reverse the engine, reversed it. What's the saying? Flip it and reverse it. No, that's not it. When you flip it and then you think now you're the one. We talked about the, power of sexualizing yourself and so on, how you think this is empowering to you, but how that could be misleading. It's the same thing here, right? He might feel like, oh yeah, but I'm the one who actually decides to go with whatever is your suggestion. And that what makes me still feel in power. And I don't cry at night thinking about why can't I express what I want and why are people controlling my life. He doesn't have that sense of his life even being controlled. Either way, the outcome is the same. How much is Trey actually Trey, and how much is he what other people tell him to be? That's the part that Charlotte is missing in this whole equation. Yes, it's good to feel empowered and being inspired to, no, it's not good. Like to have a sense of power, I guess, in marriage, if that's what she's struggling with. But at the same time, because she's so focused on the idea of marriage and getting married and having this perfect life that will finally make her seem worthy in the society, and that's the ultimate goal, she fails to see that the man who she's actually building all of this with is not really his true self. So how will that then pan out? Trey is impressed with Charlotte.
What is it about you, Charlotte? You always seem to know just what I want. You're exquisite.
Just a little note here, okay? I don't want to go too deep, but if you base your personality and who you are on caregiving or taking care of another person, if that codependency is strong, then this could further enforce this kind of attitude, right? To always seek and make sure how this person will feel like you take care of them and you are there for them, and that's your whole identity, okay? You might find yourself crying late at night thinking, what did I become? So just, don't base your personality on being a caretaker? Caretaker? Why does it sound wrong? And when Trey is so lovingly looking at Charlotte, it almost seems that he's about to ask her, right?
Charlotte.
Yes?
Oh my God, is he gonna ask me now to marry him? They get interrupted by the waitress. But this time, Charlotte is not gonna let her chance, her opportunity to get married slip away. She gently touches Trey and she says,
Maybe we should get married.
Alrighty.
what now? Charlotte is not happy. What does he mean, alrighty? This is not how things are supposed to go down.
I suggested he have a tomato salad. Then I suggested we get married.
First things first, the fact that Charlotte, of all people, the person who is all about traditional ways and who wants a man to cater to her and so on, right? Who has this idea of how marriage should happen, actually asks him. One scenario is that she is very, very desperate to be a wife. I told you this was her year. She's gonna get a husband. So she's almost like, if I let this continue a little bit longer, the way Trey is just changing his mind, however other people tell him to change his mind, he might not even marry me. And that's why she proposed to him. Or the second thing is that in some way, Charlotte actually became a little bit more progressive, right? Hanging with Miranda and Samantha and Carrie, she could have started to believe that it's totally fine if she also asks for marriage. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Why did she do what she did? But the thing is that this is not what she actually wants. Yes, she got the proposal and yes, she's gonna get married, but it wasn't what she actually expected for it to be. It wasn't this magical moment when Trey went on one knee and asked her or said yes and said, yes, you would make me the happiest man alive if you married me. It was simply,
Alrighty.
here's the thing. Okay, I might see it as, that's just not what Charlotte really wanted because it doesn't make her feel special enough. But I'd be wrong. And you also, because the problem is, what is Charlotte going to tell their kids when it comes to their engagement story? Oh, I asked your dad to marry me and he said, alrighty. What will people think?
This is an awful engagement story. What am I supposed to tell my kids?
Luckily, Trey has money, okay? One day, they're walking down the street and Charlotte is a little bit, in her head. And Trey stops. They pass Tiffany's. And he's like,
Maybe we should go in there and find you the most beautiful ring that they have.
Alrighty.
Charlotte is ecstatic. She is so happy because, yes, he's gonna buy her a Tiffany ring. First of all, that's... Who can say that this is not true love when it's expensive? And second thing, now her engagement story can go a little bit differently. You see, one day they were walking down the street and Trey, right in front of Tiffany, popped the question to Charlotte and she said, alrighty, yes, her story is saved. I have a confession to make. You know, one time when I thought I was making the money in corporate, I went to Tiffany and I wanted to treat myself. Like I wanted to buy myself this, this bracelet, that has like a tuck at the end. I'm going to try to find it and pop it here. It was like, something for myself. Look, it's not even gold. And it's so expensive. And also the rest of the things that I saw there, I was not that impressed, to be honest. Based on the price, I was like, what? Safe to say I didn't buy it. I have no idea why I shared this with you. And I have no idea why I edited it and left it in and exported it. Yeah. I want to add another thing here, and it is this idea of being with someone who is perfectly what you want them to be, right? Charlotte discovering this power of how she can subtly control Trey, right? It's almost like, oh my God, this is perfect. Like he's gonna do whatever I want him to do. Might be something that initially seems like the perfect thing because it's almost like, oh my God, I can get whatever I want. But if we talk about true partnership or like really feeling authentic love, that's the key thing, authenticity. When you are with someone, even though they are everything or they mold into what you want them to be, and you think that that's a good thing, right? You don't have to change. At the end of the day, we crave people to be real. We crave people to be authentic, right? We follow people who show authenticity. So in this case, even if Charlotte feels like, oh my God, Trey is perfect, I can even, make him do whatever I want him to do. At the end of the day, it's not really who he is. He's just being what Charlotte wants him to be. And that becomes boring in best case scenario and very problematic and toxic in worst case scenario for either one of you. Or worst scenario for one person. When the person who loves control has also some mental problems, and that makes it very sucky for you. I've said it before. The perfect partner, it's not about, checking off a list or checking off all your preferences that you have, but it's more about the attitude they have towards different things in life, towards life itself, towards relationship, towards challenges. What do they want from life and how compatible you are in that? That's the thing that will make your partnerships good, right? Bringing your own individuality, but also have enough compatibility that you can then create almost something new, something additional together with who you are as individuals. Okay, at least that's how I see it. All of this makes Charlotte finally feel complete.
$1,300. It looked lovely under the ramen noodles we'll be forced to eat due to my outstanding China loans. Oh, no. No, not that face. All right, if it's what you want.
Charlotte feels like she wasn't complete until she met Trey, until she met someone who she can control and is rich. But her fairy tale is gonna get shooked again. You see, Trey has a prenup for Charlotte. I can't even say it.
Everyone in the family has one. I think you sign on page 4 or something. Feel free to have your lawyer look it over.
Honestly, what do you think about prenups? Look, the first things first, I do not fall into the group of people who would even think that there is a prenup, right? That I have enough money or my partner has enough money that there should be some worry about splitting the assets and so on. When you're working class or even if you're living paycheck to paycheck, the F are you going to think about what or how are we going to split our asset? What assets? The rice. So of course, prenups and things like that make sense for people who have some inheritance, have their own real estate, like maybe they invested things, maybe they have their own business before they meet someone and so on. Or even, I think that's it. I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant. So the fact that Trey is willing to give Charlotte $500,000 if they get divorced after 30 years, right? To me, sounds like, that's good. That sounds good. But on the other hand, this is apparently the 1% or maybe the 5%. I don't know how wealthy Trey is, but apparently a lot. And $500,000 is not that much.
I'm only worth $500,000 over 30 years.
Charlotte is kind of upset that this is how much she is worth. Besides the fact that he is even thinking about prenup when they haven't even gotten married yet. Like, what? Divorce before marriage? Like, what is this? This is not romantic at all. She feels a little bit almost insulted in a way. The fact that she will get extra money for the kids only if they are boys, that somehow doesn't play a role. Okay, that's understandable. But the fact that she is worth only $500,000 after 30 years, this we have a problem.
I can't sign that. I can't marry someone knowing they feel this way.
Now, I'm thinking, Charlotte finds it insulting in a way because, like I said before, she is the type of person who values herself based on how good of a wife material she is, right? She is the perfect woman who someone would want to marry. So the fact that Trey is giving a prenup, it's almost like that does not matter at all. Like, her fantasy of being married to potentially a wealthy man in high society clashes with the reality of how people move in these circles, aka a prenup. Yes, I'm wealthy and rich. That's why when I get married to you, I'm going to make sure that I'm protected. It's almost like she's not realistic with what does it actually mean having this fairy tale of being a good material wife for the type of man that she would go after. So that kind of shooks her, right? Now, Miranda and the other girls, or especially Miranda, are kind of saying that this is pretty normal standard to have a prenup. And honestly, for me personally, like I said, if I was rich or if I had a business or something, of course, let's do a prenup. It's not about, oh, I'm already planning that we are going to get divorced and so on. But it's more about, no, let's decide things when we are level-headed and when we actually love each other and we want best for one another, rather than if something happens to go into it with hate and trying to, clash and this and that. I don't know. I feel it's a better thing. And then if nothing ever happens, like, who cares about the prenup? Of course, there needs to be also a foul play exception. Okay, in that case, maybe we divide differently. Now, again, when it comes to, you only get money if you have certain gender. Like, I don't care if you're 1%. I expect you to be still smart. First of all, what do you mean? Like, okay, I can accept or try to understand that maybe if I use Game of Thrones as source, okay, maybe it was important that the leader was, a man because he actually had to go to war and fight. But then also we all met Joffrey. So today, if we want to go based on who will actually take more land, taking on consideration that the social media is queening today, aren't there more women who are successful on Instagram? Think about that. Maybe you should have more women, okay? It's ridiculous what I'm saying, okay? I'm trying to be fun, not trying to be. I'm just playing stupid because the whole thing is ridiculous. The combination of Charlotte potentially losing her chance at her dream coming true, achieving her ultimate goal of becoming a wife, and the encouragement of her friends, Charlotte decides to negotiate. And she knows exactly who she needs to negotiate with.
Bunny, do you have a minute?
Yes, Biz, the mother is pulling the strings. Charlotte faces Bunny and she pleads her case. Not really. She just says that she is worth $1 million. Bunny is a little bit like, sweetie, this is how we do in the McDougal But Charlotte is like, Bunny, I do not think that you will be happy if, first of all, I back out of the wedding. I mean, how would Trey take it? But also, what would the people say?
And the Times announcement would run, and I guess there would be some questions, but...
What do you want?
Okay, Charlotte. We'll change it. You are worth $1 million. And Charlotte is happy.
I'm getting married. Congratulations.
She will get her ultimate goal, her dream of marrying Trey, being a wife. And also, she stood up for her worth. Again, babies, Charlotte is happy, though her friends not as much. You see, Samantha she doesn't really get it. She doesn't get why would she marry Trey. And this could show the potential reality of how Samantha recognizes that Trey doesn't have any individuality or personality apart from being who his mom wants him to be, or a part of being a doctor in high society. And Miranda, well, Charlotte settled for $1 million when she is worth much more. But will this marriage persevere? Will they even get to the altar? All of that in the next video on Charlotte and Trey. I'll probably sprinkle in some other videos also, okay? Mama needs to make some money. Why did I say that? Let me know in the comments below which one of the 3 so far that we analyzed, Carrie, Miranda, or Charlotte, is your favorite, or none of them are. And remember, trust your individuality.